going on, everybody? It's Jeff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and you are looking at our pregame show in Extra Mile Arena. I forgot where we were for a second, and tonight's game is Boise State Broncos hosting the UNM Lobos. 10-2, 1-0 in Mountain West for the Lobos, 8-4, 0-1 in Mountain West for Boise State Broncos, and we are in Extra Mile Arena. As you can see behind me, I'm going to do the Grammar Vision special here. You got BJ's show going on live behind me right now, and that was the Grammar Vision. But as you can also see, we have a special guest tonight. Special guest Ryan Barryman is joining us on the show. Ryan, you have a new little new business card you're going to have to get here pretty soon. And earlier today, Ryan was named the interim athletic director at UNM. Ryan, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, Jeff.
And thank you for being on the show. And tell me what the hell this means, man. Like, what do you got to do?
No, that's a great question. Well, first, I feel like I'm with Mountain West royalty over here watching you and BJ Raines go to work over here. But, yeah, extremely grateful for this opportunity, even in the interim, to do this at a place that I care deeply about. So excited for what's next and hope to keep the momentum going.
This music just got louder to you for some reason in the arena. I don't know if it got louder on yours or if it was just on mine, but appreciate you. Thank you. I am now official. I was not official until now, but I now have my credential. So obviously for those that may not know, those that are just tuning in and skipped out the weekend, Fernando Lobo is now the former athletic director at UNM, and he is at Colorado. And it all happened really quickly. I will ask you, as comfortable as you are talking about what this past weekend was about, and then we'll get into sort of, the what's next about it. But this past weekend, what's it like for a guy who is part of the senior leadership team and finding out that Fernando was moving on?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a roller coaster of emotions, right? We were in Phoenix for 4 days, celebrating the Rainbow with our football program, celebrating a historic year, and yeah, really enjoyed that week. And then it just shows you the roller coaster that can be college athletics, because that was on Friday, and obviously the news developed over the weekend. But so incredibly happy for Fernando and this opportunity. I think the reality is there's only 130 whatever FBS AD jobs in the country, and you just never know when those opportunities are gonna pop up. And it's just a testament to the last really 10 months, 12 months under his leadership and what's been accomplished here. So I think people need to be very grateful for his time here and really celebrate the opportunity that he had from the next year.
I was able to talk to Fern a little bit. I know you have as well, and you guys got close, not just in a working relationship, but friends as well. College athletics is really unique in that it's one of the few places where a job change like he just went through happens in a very secretive manner and in a very time crunch manner, where it's when it comes to the AD or a men's basketball or men's football, of course, football coach, they happen secretively. They, at the last minute, seem so rushed through it. There's not a lot of time to process. Fans feel jilted, and it's understandable because they are asked to give their passion, support, emotion, and engagement, and all that kind of stuff. They're asked to do all that. So I get where they're coming from, but you also know the guy. You also know his family, and you know how hard he worked. Do you just try and stay off social media or not listen to some of the fans who do talk to you? Or how do you approach fans that want to tell you how mad they are in a situation like this?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I mean, I think the reality is what we've been able to do as a department collectively is really capture lightning in a bottle over the last 12 months. And when you do that, people notice. And I think everybody wants their own little piece of that lightning. So I think the reality is you'd rather have this situation where we're having success and we're reloading than you have to separate with an administrator or a coach or the alternative. And so the reality is it should be an exciting time. I know it's hard, but we're in college sports, which is instant gratification. Hires happen fast, wins and losses happen fast, and yeah, we'll keep working the best way we know how.
I was writing in a story earlier today, you've been a part of the past 5 global basketball coaches. Steve, Craig, Paul, Richard, and now Eric. So
yeah.
That's a lot of basketball coaches in your short time. Obviously, you've been involved with football as well, but predominantly you've been involved with this men's basketball team. When there's a change at the top, how does it affect premier programs like men's basketball and football? Like, what does an athletic director change mean to the local basketball team?
Yeah, I think the reality is there's a special relationship between athletic directors and the coach. The coach and the athletic director that hires us, right? And so there's a special relationship there. You go through the process together, you onboard together, you go through some of those first moments together. And so the reality is Fernando and Jason had an amazing relationship, and it's my goal to try to continue that. I was back at UNM after my sabbatical at Washington by the time we hired Coach Olin.
A sabbatical, is that what we're calling it?
I think that's a good term, yeah. So, I think Coach Olin and I have a good relationship, and I want to maintain everything positive that he had with Fernando, but it's our goal during this transitory period to make sure they don't feel an impact. Our student athletes as well. So we got to just do our job, keep providing them the best experience we can, and then hopefully keep winning.
You got some people on, you got Noah on YouTube right now saying, RB, let's go. You got a lot of congratulations. Steve Singletary on YouTube is saying congratulations. You got the Pit Press crew on X saying congrats, Ryan. Got a question for you, Steve Singletary. When was Ryan told he was leaving? What are you comfortable telling us about the timeline of you kind of learning what may happen, learning it did happen, and then learning today you were going to be interim? And I say today, I don't know for sure that you learned today. So what, those 3 steps, what might happen, when you learned it did happen, and then when you learned your new role?
Yeah, I think you touched on it earlier. I mean, these things happen so fast that probably Fernando didn't even know until it got really close. You're talking to a lot of candidates. It's similar to a coaching search, and until you really sign the dotted line, you don't know if it's going to happen or not. So these things happen fast, and so I think things really progressed after the game on Friday, and everybody had a chance to kind of catch their breath and reset, and now we're playing for the future.
We got right now Nicholas is saying credit to all, but especially the department. It's not like he can do it all alone, and he was the first-time AD. There are some things, and I was talking to somebody else about this. You're in this position. I added to the story that we had online earlier today that you were the new interim, that there are 2 internal candidates, and you and I talked about this. I asked you about this because it's not a secret. There are 2 really, really good, really qualified, frankly, seemingly, to a person like me, seemingly ready candidates in-house right now. It's you and it is Jalen Dominguez. You guys are both locals. You guys have both put in most of your time building the resumes you have at UNM with some short stints elsewhere, right? All that said, though, the things you guys both lack is you've never been an AD before. And there are some things that you can't ever do until you do it. Is there anything else that you would say on a resume, tough position to put you in, but on a resume that you lack right now, or do you feel like you are ready for this position permanently? And then I'm going to follow that up. Well, I'll ask that. Do you feel like you are 100% ready to be an athletic director at UNM?
Yeah, I'll pick that apart. I mean, the reality is we have an amazing staff at UNM currently, and all of us played our part in the success that we've had over the last year. From Jalen to Amy to Casey to Ed to Chris Hudson to our entire executive team, Rob Waller, put in work to get to this point. And so the reality is we collectively share in the wins and we collectively share in the losses. So let's just address that first part. We have a lot of administrators that have ties to UNM, care about UNM, want what's best for New Mexico, regardless of what that result is, and I think we all feel that way. We're all in sports, we're all competitive, and we all, at the end of the day, I think this staff in particular wants what's best for this place, and that's going to be our goal. So, first part of your question. The second part of your question is, I think, is anybody really ready for that first big job? And I think coaches, administrators, we all look at our strengths and our weaknesses, and you hire a staff to address maybe some of your blind spots. And so, Fernando was a football guy. He called me and invited me to come home as a basketball guy. And I think every good administrator and every good coach is aware of their strengths, aware of their weaknesses, and hires to those and learns. And I think that's the right approach for any new coach, new administrator.
As an interim, do you feel comfortable? Do you have the authority to make any big changes staff-wise right now? Or is that sort of you take what's in place right now, you ride that out until a more permanent decision is made by the people, the powers that be?
Yeah, I think, in the interim, my job is to make sure that, as I said earlier, that our coaches and our student athletes don't experience any big waves of change. We're going to continue to preserve that experience and keep the momentum going that we've had. Now, long term, that'll be up to the president and the board how they want to handle bigger changes. But I can tell you, we're going to chip away every day to try to build on this momentum that we've had the last 12 months. I think it's been incredibly special, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think we're going to keep it rolling.
Because there are enough people who understand the situation at hand, and I don't feel like I'm just forcing this narrative or story out there. I do want to ask you, like I did earlier, and I asked Jalen the same. You and Jalen are two guys that are going for the same job. It could be awkward, it would seem. How are you and Jalen going to get? How are you going to get along with Jalen? I guess I could ask him the same at some time, and I have. But I do want to ask you that. Like, there are two people now that have to work closely together who both want the UNM AD job. I'm curious, is there going to be drama that I get to write about? Come on, are we going to have something to write about?
There will not be any drama. We've had a lot of talks, and all of us as the staff, like I said, there's so many qualified administrators on this staff. I think if you went and asked our men's basketball coaching staff right now, how many of you guys want to be a head coach, they're all going to say yes.
Yeah.
I think we're all motivated by those things. We're competitive. We work in sports. But at the end of the day, we want what's best for New Mexico. And to me, it doesn't matter who that person is, as long as it's best for the institution and the people that are making the decision feel confident in their decision. I think that's what matters at the end of the day.
Richie's in, and I've had this post up for a little while. Sorry, guys, I haven't got to it yet. But Richie is saying, Richie, first of all, what's up, Richie? How you doing? Hi, Ryan. Is this a new job or picking up kind of the leftover plans that Lobo had? What's the roadmap? How much, I guess, in the interim, do you just sort of, like I think you alluded to most of it is sort of just trying to keep going as much as you can right now. But there's got to be some things that, with Fern gone, that we'll either have to probably stop or get adjusted. I'm curious how you feel that is going to go.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we're working on, and I'll just say, every major project or major decision that's gone on, I've been in the room with Fernando, and so we're well in line on what we were thinking on a lot of those things. I mean, I think you look at a calendar, right, that's coming up in January, you have the legislative session coming up, which is absolutely crucial to not only our athletic department, but all athletic departments in New Mexico. And so, we got to get our ducks in a row for that coming up in January, and obviously incredibly grateful to the legislative body that makes what we do possible. So that's coming up. We've been working on a stadium project for University Stadium. We got a feasibility study going. I'm expecting
nothing on the stadium stops.
Nothing on the stadium should stop. No, I
mean that's what I think a lot of people are hoping.
Yeah, no, stop. we have some renderings that we're looking forward to sharing soon, and some cost estimates, and candidly, we got to go find more money to make it happen. So those projects that we've already been working on will continue, and it's like I said earlier, it's my job to make sure those continue and are in a good spot.
All right, 99.999 on YouTube. Say congrats, Ryan. Steve Singletary's back in on YouTube. Says it takes everyone in the department. You all have done a great job. Nicholas is in saying any way to make the background noise less. I wish there was, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Nicholas. It's jumping in here.
Yeah, it is pretty loud, and I actually think we might be right under those speakers as part of this problem. But I do know that BJ's doing his show right behind me, and we were having the same issue. So, yeah, I really do wish we could do more. But for now, if I turn our mics up anymore, you guys might get more of the background music anyway. So, Noah's in. Hypothetical question here, but what would be your first goal as a permanent AD? Only if you're able to speak on it. Like, is there anything you would say that if you do become AD that you'd really want to? Is there a first goal?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about this my entire life. I think I have a lot of goals that I've jotted down. I don't know that I can rank one as number 1, 2, 3 on day one, but as I said, I think those things will come in time. Right now, my job is to serve as the intern and to provide leadership in the absence of it currently, and we'll see what happens long term.
Yeah, I am getting more messages that you guys are all hearing that background noise more than anything, and I do apologize for that. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I don't have anything else that can kill that background music. So John Romero's in, and any of us who'd get an offer to triple their salary would like to take it in an instant. Mr. Lobos securing his family's future, his first priority. Congratulations to him. I think we can all agree with that. There are certainly a whole lot of other factors that go into it, and we are in a unique position in Albuquerque right now where there are two guys that while they are not being offered tripling salary money, I think they're two guys who have made it very clear they're lifers, right? Like, we got one sitting next to us, and Jalen's in the same boat. They're Albuquerque natives who would really like this job, and it's not my job to campaign for them, but I do know that there are some people who do like Albuquerque as their home that would really like this job. Sean is in, who would RB hire to fill the football gap?
Yeah, it's a good question, Sean. I'd argue we've kind of already done that. When I got back from Washington, I had the chance to reconnect with a really close friend of mine, Casey Byers, who him and I worked together here when I was a manager for the basketball team, and he was the head of Lobos TV. And we reconnected in Seattle, and I asked him if he would ever consider moving to administration. And, Fernando, I think he might have been Fernando's fourth hire. Maybe it was Coach Eck, and then me, and then Eric Olin, and then Casey Byers. So Casey's been in the football locker room. He went to the national championship with Washington football. I'm going to lean on him heavily. He's a creative genius, and I'm very grateful he's in Albuquerque.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Ryan. I am curious how you're going to answer this, because it's a question that you can't answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. What's something you disagreed with Lobo on?
No, I think we were aligned on a lot of things, and I think the success of a lot of our programs and our efforts speak for themselves, and the efforts that our team put into them. But the reality is, as a staff, it's our job to poke holes in ideas. And, I think any athletic director, coach, what have you, should have people around them that will poke holes in the ideas. Because no idea is perfect, and it's going to take a village regardless of who's in charge.
Sorry if you already reported this. He's telling us on Bouillon ready to go tonight. John, he is. He is expected to go. He's off the questionable list. So Bouillon is going. Ryan, no big ask here, but Craig is saying get us in the Big 12. Can you do that as an interim AD?
Time will tell.
Adam Valdez saying go Lobos. Juan is in. Ryan needs to be our permanent AD. So Ryan, you do have a lot of support. You knew that already. None of the people on social media that are supporting you and people here are the ones that are making the decision, but it's got to feel somewhat heartwarming, satisfying. It's actually a little bit happy to know that a lot of people want you as the AD.
Yeah, incredibly grateful for the support. The reality is I came to UNM as an 18-year-old, and most of my life has been there. The relationships I've made are incredibly important to me, and the people is what makes this place really special. So it means a lot to me, and I'm very grateful. Thank you all.
Uriah Kinnett's dad is in the house.
There he is.
Welcome to center stage, Ryan. Fern left, but will you be able to leverage him if needed for upcoming legislative session? Are you ready for the big push over the next 3 months? Are you ready to be Mr. Front and Center here in Santa Fe?
Yeah, I think that's a big job, right? And I think it takes a village from the entire UNM staff. The government relations team that we have is incredible, and they'll help us through that. I think I'm grateful to be able to lean on all of my mentors that I've worked with in the past, and they all provide a different lens on a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, I hope to lean on him as much as he'll listen to me.
I really appreciate hearing that the department is still motivated and working away. You guys haven't taken a week off or anything, have you?
I think this is our week off, and here we are in Boise, Idaho, watching men's basketball. So fired up.
I have already asked a bunch of people, what's the first 8 hours of the Ryan Barryman reign been like? Said a lot of yelling, a lot of go get me some coffees, a lot of that going on, right?
Yeah, we have a great donor group here from the Lobo Club, so we had a little lunch and then a 5 p.m. coffee, which is way later than I would normally have coffee, but 9 p.m.
You weren't demanding people go get you coffee?
No, I get my own coffee. Yeah.
You were probably getting them coffee. That's kind of how it starts to work when the donors are here, right? Sean Ryder's in. Sean says he can hear me loud and clear. Sorry, Sean. I know that disappoints you that you can hear me. Craig is in. The whole new crew had chops before Fernando. So there is something to this, right? Like, for the most part, there was a whole crew. A lot of you guys were already here before Fern got here. But the reality is, too, Fern was a piece of it. Like, I know you guys aren't going to kind of, now that he's gone, say, well, Fern didn't do any of it. Like, he was a piece of this, and you guys are losing a good piece.
100%. I mean, as a leader, he set the vision for the entire department. He set the standard, and it's our job to execute that vision, but he set the vision, and he did an incredible job, and there's no other way to say it.
Sean on X is saying, thanks for the answer. Last question. What's better to contribute to NIL or whatever pool is part of the revenue share? Where if somebody says, I got $10, I want to give it to UNM, tell me the best way to give this money, take my money, where?
Yeah, it's a loaded question, but the simple answer is give it to the Lobo Club. There's been a lot of changes with the House settlement, most recently July 1st, that allows schools to share institutional dollars with student athletes for their name, image, and likeness. And so any donation you make to the Lobo Club can offset scholarships or support our student athletes in that way. So every dollar that's available, we need to go to the Lobo Club. It's tax deductible, and it's making a difference. I think we've seen the results this year, and like I said, we got to build on the momentum.
We got one here on Extra Mile Arena. I'll ask you your opinion too and see if it's a nice diplomatic answer now that you're in the Navy spot. But it is asking to rate Extra Mile Arena on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll tell you what, man. First of all, the Lobos probably don't like it because they haven't won here in seven tries. I think the losing streak's at 7 now here. But it is a good arena. It is accessible. There's a reason the NCAA tournament is probably coming here. That's nothing that Ryan can't do anything to fix that with the pit, but there are some structural issues with the pit that the NCAA doesn't necessarily want to have to deal with for their tournament anymore. That Boise State doesn't have that issue. It is a good arena. It is not like the pit when it's full here. The pit is still louder when it's full. But this is I think it's a pretty good arena. If I'm rating it, I'd say it's a good 7 or 8. If we're grading on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, it's a good environment. In Section 5 over there with all the cherry, that's a 10 out of 10 over there. So that section looks good.
There's one section here with a whole lot of cherry right now. So, all right. Although sick, I should have showed up tonight to crash the pregame party over there. Nick wanted to crash the party. Amber Williamson, mother of softball star freshman, and congratulations, I am 2 for 2 with meeting and getting to know the UNM AD. Will you be at a few softball games this spring? I'm not even going to let Ryan answer that. I demand he be there because I still owe the softball team coverage that I didn't give them last year, and I promise.
I will be there. I'm fired up for local softball. We actually have a project going on over there right now to renovate the press box and the bleachers. So, yeah, we're going to be cutting it close at the start of the season there, but can't wait to unveil that for our student athletes and our fans.
I say star freshman. She's a sophomore now. All right, Quincy's in. Just saw Patino's endorsement on X. When can we schedule a home-and-home with Xavier?
I think Coach might laugh at me if I ask, but I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask him.
I still have the soundbite of Patino saying he doesn't want to come back to the pit.
I'm going to ask every coach that I've ever worked with. I'm going to ask Drew Adams at Indiana. I'm going to ask Fernando to ask Tad. I'm going to ask Richard. So we're going to work that pretty hard.
I like it. All Lobo managers, all Lobo men's basketball manager alumni are proud tonight. Stephen Lujan.
Thanks, Steven. It's a pretty surreal moment.
It is a unique fraternity you guys got, man. It really is.
Tight group.
All right, Rome Taco on YouTube is saying, RB, what a journey, man. I think it's comforting to find someone that bleeds cherry and silver.
Yeah, your handle there got just excited to talk with.
You like that one?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, Craig's in. Schedule Dion.
Yep, same thing. I'm going to ask Fernando. They can tell me no.
What's your vision for the Lobos? Where would you like to see it go?
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time on that. I mean, I think we have an obligation as an athletic department to represent New Mexico on a national stage, and I think I got to do everything in my power to make that possible and make New Mexico proud. So I think the next 5 years before the next wave of potential realignment are crucial, and we got to do everything in our power to put New Mexico on the map.
That was the kind of self-set destination point or deadline that Fern always talked about was 2030. You agree with that year as a destination that let's get our ducks in a row as best we can by 2030?
Yeah, between 2030 and 2032 is when you see most major media deals expiring. And as you've seen in the last few years, when those deals approach expiration is when a lot of movement happens. So, yeah, between 2030 and 2032.
Packers is saying, where's Patton been? Kevin Patton is continuing to take care of some personal matters. He is still on the team. His brother is still on the team, redshirting, but Kevin Patton is still, as of right now, a member of the UNM Lobo basketball team. He is not here tonight. He is taking care of some personal matter. We got Sean in on X. Thank you, Ryan. Checks in the mail.
I love it. Thanks, Sean.
Desert Lobo 72 is on YouTube saying, since UNM is going to Hawaii next football season, do you plan to schedule a fifth non-conference game? Do you know yet?
Yeah, Desert Lobo, that's a good question. It's something we've talked about preliminarily. I don't know at this point. It's something Coach Eck and I will have to talk about with Jalen and Casey. But, we'll see. I think we got a good 12-game schedule right now with some winnable games. So we're excited.
Not a big ask here, but JT on YouTube is saying, let's get Duke in the pit. I'll sell my organs.
Same thing, JT. We'll ask. We'll make them tell us no.
Can you get SDSU home and home series and VCU? I can answer that. I don't foresee Brian Dutcher bringing his team to elevation and the pit again. He doesn't really have much of a desire to do a home and home. If UNM wants to go play in San Diego, I think it would happen. I do not see much desire on Dutcher's part to do a home and home.
Yeah, I'll just say I don't know for sure, but it's a great rivalry in all of college basketball. We go back the last 15 years, there's been some incredible games. I hope there's a way to institute a lot of these rivalries, but time will tell.
All right, Rich is in. Could you potentially bring breakfast burritos, sponsor pending, to the football games next season as a food item, please? Breakfast burritos at University Stadium.
That's a pretty good idea considering how many early games we have this year. The 1 o'clock games. I don't know that we'd want breakfast burrito tonight at 9 o'clock, but if we have some afternoon games.
I got to tell you, I think there would be some breakfast burrito consumers even at night.
Yeah, it is New Mexico.
Is Tomasov or Chris a go? Chris is a no. Chris is home sick. So is Tameo Pond. Tomasov Bullion will be playing tonight. Rome Taco 24, RB. As you grew through the ranks, did you ever see yourself in this spot today, and how does it feel?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I mean, it's been a childhood dream to serve in this role. I'll be honest, growing up, you never think it's possible. It seems so far out into the distance. So I don't know that I truly soaked it all in yet, but I know I'm going to the next few days. It's been an emotional day.
What NBA G League players are we targeting? I can say this. I don't think the door was 100% shut on UNM exploring mid-season opportunities. I don't know that the doors. I honestly don't know if it's 100% shut now. I don't think it's going to happen, but I know it was at least somewhat explored. Is that safe to say, or do you want to even say anything?
That might be behind the curtain, but I will say, if you're on X, John Calipari had a pretty impassioned post-game speech. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. It's worth a watch.
Yes. Got another Let's Go Lobos. We got Ernie G. Ernie, I apologize. I'm not entirely sure if I understand what you're asking here, but it says, what has been the reaction of the coaches Lobo hired? Oh, I got you. I'm sorry. I know I've reached out to Eric and to Jason Eck both. It was before it was official. They didn't want to comment then. I'll ask you now. Has there been anything worth repeating or that you can repeat at this point from either Eric Olin or Jason Eck about the Lobo situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's Jason, it's Eric, it's our soccer coach, Carly, and Fernando also hired our newest volleyball coach. Yeah. And so I think generally everyone's very supportive. It just shows you how quick these things go, though. We had a volleyball coach that was named on Friday, and Fernando had a good job on Saturday. So that's just the nature of our business. And I think everyone's excited.
All right, guys, I'm going to hit these last few rapid fire and let Ryan go. And we are right now 14 minutes away from game time, so I'm going to let him get back to his duties as mostly a fan, but he also has some administrative duties with some donors and some people over there that he probably has to go talk to a little bit. And we got Sean on X. What big regional basketball game what big regional basketball game can we restart on the neutral site? Home and homes aren't happening in current landscape. Maybe that's a San Diego State opportunity.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to look at all that, especially as our league changes next year. The reality is we're going to lose a lot of quad 1 and quad 2 games.
Yep.
And we're going to have to find a way to get quality opponents. And if we have to meet them halfway, then we're going to have to meet them halfway. Obviously, I believe that games in the pit and games at true college environments are better, but unfortunately the metrics don't always agree with that.
Yep.
So we're going to have to get really creative in scheduling next year. There's no doubt.
RB, have you heard from any coach, Neil or Alfred? Have you heard from either of them about today? Are they willing to work? Are they willing to work under him after Nevada? Yeah, you want Neil or Alfred to come back and work under him?
I heard from every coach that I worked for today. Very grateful for their support, especially as they're preparing for a game tonight. I think we're playing Dave Filipovich in the Colorado State Rams right now. So it's a good game going on in Fort Collins, right?
41 seconds left, and Nevada's up 12.
Wow, Nevada's going to go 2-0. So congrats to those guys.
All right, guys, I am going to fire through these. I apologize, I haven't already done so. LeBron James to UNM. We'll see, Packers. Nicholas is in. RB, I believe our biggest goal is stability, especially for major sports programs. I think that's safe to say, stability, right?
Yeah, I think retention is more important. I shouldn't say more important, but equally as important as recruitment in this environment. So, yeah, retention is key.
RB, how ready are you if your name is called to be our AD? How good of a job do you feel you can do if you ever had to hire another big-name coach if necessary? Did you hire a coach?
I've been involved in a lot of coaching processes, yeah. So I fully believe in myself and my abilities, but time will tell, like I said. It's my job right now, leading this department.
RB up. We're about to do the national anthem, guys, so I'm going to use that as an opportunity to say thank you to Ryan. I'm going to put my headset down. Actually, I'm going to sign off right now. Ryan, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on, Jeff.
Bye.